Did you know that in this room, every one of us has been disappointed? There are no exceptions. In fact, if you're alive, you would have been disappointed at some time. The challenge with being disappointed is this: if you let it and you leave it, it becomes disappointment. You get disappointed, but then you end up in disappointment. And disappointment is a way of life, whereas being disappointed is an occasion or an event. I want to speak to you this morning on the important topic of being disappointed is inevitable, but living in disappointment is optional. You can't stop yourself from being disappointed, but you can stop yourself from living in disappointment. So let's look at the three areas this morning where we can easily be disappointed and it can turn to disappointment. Number one, we can be disappointed with ourselves. Anyone in the room disappointed with themselves? You wanted to achieve certain things. You wanted to be a certain kind of person, but you find that you let yourself down. You allow bad habits and weaknesses to creep in. You allow sin to entangle you and throttle your life. Number two, the second thing is we can be disappointed with God. A lot of people wouldn't admit it, but they're disappointed with God. And they end up in disappointment where, oh, well, you never know what God's going to do, and they stop praying and they stop believing Him. Number three, the third area, and I want to focus on this morning, is we can be disappointed with others, especially in the realm of business, the realm of family, the realm of church, but especially in the realm of business. And I felt the Lord spoke to me very clearly from this wonderful passage about Isaac in Genesis 26. It says, Isaac planted crops in that land, that's the land of the Philistines, where he found himself, and that same year reaped 100-fold. The Lord blessed him. Now watch, the man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. It says he had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. Underline the words envied him, because it's one of the sins in the world today that we tend to ignore. It's a massive problem. The Bible talks about envy, but no one seems to know what envy is. But it's when you prosper, people attack you. Verse 15, so all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. I want you to notice the beginning of verse 15. It says, so. Verse 16, then Abimelech, he's the king of the Philistines, said to Isaac, move away from us, for you've become too powerful for us. Underline the words too powerful. He says, get away from you because you're threatening us. Your success threatens us. Now I love verse 17. So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. Now watch. But the herders of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac and said, the water is ours. So he named the well Esek, because they disputed with him. It goes on to say here, then they dug another well, and they quarreled over that one also. He named it Sitnah, and he moved on from there and dug another well. And no one quarreled over it, and he named it Rehoboth, saying, now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land. So 2 wells he dug, and they took it and said, it's ours. That's what envy will do. But finally he found a place where God allowed him to enjoy it. Now we jump to verse 25. Here's a key to Isaac's life. Isaac built an altar and called on the name of the Lord there. And there he pitched his tent, and his servants dug a well. And it says, meanwhile, look what happens. Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahuzath, his personal advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. These are significant people he brings with him. Isaac asked him rightly, why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and you sent me away? They answered, we saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. And so there's some lessons that we learn here. 4 simple things I want to bring out of the text. Isaac did them, and we need to do them too. Number 1, this is what I want to encourage you to do that Isaac did. Don't let the envy of others destroy the opportunities of God. When people envy you, you can end up not taking the opportunities that God has for you. Envy does this. It says there's only a little bit to go around and you've got mine. No. Wealth is not a pie, it's a river. And if someone's got a big piece, they haven't got yours. Can I help you here today? Don't let the envy of others destroy the opportunities of God. Number 2, the second thing is we need to move on without bitterness. This man had given his best wherever he was, but there came a point where he had to move on. The Bible says that he prospered and he saw 100-fold return, yet he moved on. Abimelech said, "You're too powerful for us." Even though he was powerful, he said, there comes a time in your life where you move on. Who's there in your life that has disappointed you and disappointed you? You better move on from them before disappointment sets in. Make the break. Here's this powerful, wealthy man who understands the timing of moving on. Number 3, the third thing he did is this, and we need to do it too. You need to let go and still have another go. Sometimes we let go of stuff and we don't have another go. He let go of the one well, but he had another go. Then he let go of that one, but he had another go. Can I say, if you're in a relationship and it's not working out, let go, but then have another go. And I mean that in the proper sense, not have another. Because you meet people and you can see, I've worked for these big companies, and they've been disappointed, and it's become disappointment. Now they don't want to work for any big institution. Someone's dated a man or woman, I've been in relationships, today in today's, so don't talk to me about men, and don't talk to me about women, No, move on. But have another go, because you're designed not for immobility, but for progress. And then number 4 here, just briefly, is when you're let down, don't stay down. People will let you down, but don't stay down. Don't write your life off. Because part of being disappointed is maturing. And Abimelech eventually seeks out Isaac. And those who reject you will seek you out if you continue to keep your life in a good place. Isaac never let his disappointed moments get the better of him.